Are you thinking of going solar and wondering which solar technology to choose? If yes, then stick around because in this video, I will be discussing the two main solar technology that are available. Hi everyone, thanks for stopping by. My name is Philippe and welcome to Electric Living. There are two key components in a solar system: the solar panels that produce direct current or DC electricity, and one or more inverters that convert the DC electricity produced by the solar panels into alternating current or AC electricity, which is the form of electricity that is used by both your home and the grid. I am now in my garage, and this is my solar inverter. It is a 10 kilowatt solar inverter from SolarEdge. And the two pieces of equipment that you see right behind me are two 10 kilowatt hour DC coupled batteries, also from SolarEdge, for a total usable storage capacity of 19.4 kilowatt hours. And connected to my inverter are 28 roof-mounted 425 watt solar panels for a total rated power of 11.9 kilowatt peak. And also, in my specific case, 28 SolarEdge DC optimizers were installed, one per panel, in order to maximize the power production of each panel and allow for panel level monitoring. If you have not seen my previous video talking about the 7 key factors to consider prior to going solar, I invite you to do so. At the time of installation, my objective was, and still is, to pursue energy independence and resiliency to provide me with the ability to maintain power to the home during a power outage. But I guess you are wondering now, why did I choose to go with this particular technology from SolarEdge? Well, before I answer, let's take a step back and discuss the two main solar technologies that are available: string inverters and micro-inverters. But before I do so, I'll have to get back inside because it's really too cold in here. Okay, I'm back inside. So let's first discuss string inverters. As you can see on the string inverter diagram here, we have a number of roof-mounted panels that produce DC electricity, like we have discussed before, and that DC electricity is sent to the inverter, which is typically located on the ground, in the garage, for example, like it is in my case. And that inverter will convert the DC electricity to AC electricity that is fed to the home electrical panel. That AC electricity is then distributed inside the home to power a whole bunch of devices. It could be a lamp or any appliance. And any excess AC electricity would then be sent back to the grid. A string inverter configuration has a number of advantages. The first advantage is it is, generally speaking, a much simpler installation because the solar panels are simply daisy-chained to form strings. Another advantage is it is typically a lot easier to service a string inverter configuration simply because the one key component, i.e. the inverter, is, generally speaking, like we just mentioned, located at the ground level, typically in the garage or sometimes even outside the home. A third advantage is it is easier in general to expand such a system by adding extra panels. Last but not least, another big advantage is it is a cost-effective solution. However, the string inverter configuration has one major disadvantage, and that is a single point of failure. As we can imagine, with one central inverter, then if that one central inverter experiences a failure, then the whole solar system could potentially go down, losing all possible production. Another disadvantage is that it is providing only limited performance information at the string level. So in this case, no individual panel monitoring would be available. Let's now compare this particular configuration to the micro-inverter solution. As we now see on the micro-inverter diagram, we have a micro-inverter that is mounted underneath each panel, and the purpose of having the micro-inverter is to maximize the power production of each panel and allow for panel level monitoring. But unlike the string inverter configuration, now the DC power produced by each panel is right away on the roof converted to AC electricity. And then that AC electricity is combined to produce one AC electricity stream towards the home electrical panel. That AC electricity, just like we saw earlier, is then distributed throughout the home, and any excess AC electricity is again here sent back to the grid. In the case of microinverters, we have a number of advantages. First, we have improved shade tolerance by allowing each panel to run at its maximum performance independently of other panels. Another advantage is panel level monitoring, so we can monitor the performance of each panel, whether we talk about current, voltage, or any other parameters. And it is, as a result, very easy to identify any underperforming panels. Another third advantage is no single point of failure, which will minimize downtime. It is a distributed solution by nature, which means that if one microinverter experiences a failure, we will lose the production of that particular one panel, but the rest of the system will continue to operate normally. However, a microinverter configuration has its disadvantages as well. Such configuration tends to be more expensive than a string inverter solution. There is, in this case, a higher cost upfront for the homeowner. A second disadvantage is the potential for higher maintenance cost. In this case, the main components, i.e. the inverters, are all located on the roof, which may mean that it is potentially harder to access the components. Let's say that if a faulty inverter is in the middle of the panel array on the roof, you will have to remove all the panels that prevent you from accessing the microinverter that you want to replace. In addition, we have limited options when it comes to battery storage system. Because the power is right away on the roof converted to AC power, then we will only be limited to AC coupled batteries. There is, however, a third option. And that third option is combining DC optimizers in a string inverter configuration. As you see now on the string inverter plus DC optimizers diagram, everything looks like a string inverter, except for the DC optimizers, and we have one DC optimizer per panel. And similarly to the string inverter configuration, DC power is sent to the inverter, and then the inverter will convert the DC power to AC power before feeding the home electrical panel. What is interesting with the string inverter with DC optimizers configuration is that it is a solution that combines the best of both worlds. And so the advantages are multiple. Simple installation, easier to expand the system by adding extra panels, It's still a cost-effective solution relative to micro-inverter solution, although the DC optimizers are on the roof, but the inverter is located at the ground level. We also have improved shade tolerance by allowing each panel to run at its maximum performance independently or fairly independently of other panels. We do have panel level monitoring thanks to the DC optimizers, and so it's easy or easier to identify any underperforming panels. We also have a much more efficient system, especially when compared to microinverters. Let's say that you have a battery storage. The DC power produced by the solar panels can be used directly to charge the battery without incurring any conversion. And so, charging and discharging the battery would only trigger one conversion from DC to AC electricity. Unlike the microinverter configuration, which incurs 3 conversions, also known as the triple conversion loss penalty, where the DC power is first converted to AC power at the roof level through the microinverter, and then to charge the battery, that AC power needs to be converted back to DC, so that's the second conversion. And then, when comes the time to discharge the battery, we need to incur a third conversion from DC back to AC in order to feed the electrical panel of the home and finally distribute that electricity throughout the home. The one major disadvantage is the same as the string inverter configuration, which is the single point of failure, which again means that if that one central inverter experiences a failure, then the whole system would be down. But there are ways to at least partially mitigate that problem by designing a system with 2 inverters, sometimes even 3 inverters. That way, we would only lose a portion of our production if one inverter were to fail. So, which system is best for you? Well, it depends. There are so many factors that take into consideration. But above all, it will also depend on what is most important for you between efficiency and redundancy. But in all cases, I will encourage you to talk with a reputable installer prior to making a final decision. At least you will have a chance to explore and determine what will be ultimately the best option for you. I hope you found this video useful, and I am curious. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What system did you end up choosing? And a special thanks to all of you who have subscribed to the channel. Your support is very much appreciated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.